How I made over $25,000 on my first real estate wholesaling deal over 5 years ago. What's up, guys? Zach Ginn here, and in today's video, I want to break down my first ever real estate wholesaling deal. I know so many of you guys are just brand new starting out. You're learning more about me and the channel, and I've been asked all the time, Zach, can you break down your first real estate wholesaling deal on an exact breakdown? And I'm really excited for it. So in this video, I'm going to break down my first ever real estate wholesaling deal, my entire journey to get that deal, and hopefully to inspire you, show you the lessons I learned from that deal, and really show you, like, at the end of the day, if I was able to do this at 17 years old, you can easily do it now. I feel like one of those guys like back in the old days in wholesaling, I mean, it was only 5 years ago. Like, it wasn't an insane amount. So before we get into it, do me a huge favor and smash that like button and subscribe, and let's get into it. So when we talk about my first real estate wholesaling deal, you got to understand, I was 17 years old. I was working around 39 hours a week as a bag boy in my job. I was actually a grocery store clerk, and I was not liking it all. It was not my thing. I was working 39 hours a week, not 40, because they didn't want to give me full-time benefits, obviously. I was a minor. I was a full-time high school student, also taking college classes there with dual enrollment when I was doing it. I was also a full-time high school athlete. I was the captain of my wrestling team for about 2 years in high school, and that's what I like to do. Also did some cross country. So pretty much after school, I was very busy doing sports. On the weekends, I was busy doing sports tournaments, and had roughly around $300 in my bank account. My biggest expense at the time was just my Honda Accord 2004. Oh, I miss that car so much. And all my money is basically poured into that car. I basically hit a breaking point, especially at 17 years old. I was a bag boy from about 14 to 18 years old. Roughly got my first couple deals, turned 18, and then quit my job. But I was just sick of working that job. I was looking at my end prospects working at that grocery store, and the managers were working 60, 70 hours a week, and they were making $60,000, $70,000 a year. And that was basically it. It was all political. I think you can relate to the whole corporate structure ladder. It wasn't even a desk job, but I knew the most a manager can make at that store, and I didn't want to put in 10, 15 years just to have the opportunity to make $80,000. Plus you get the W-2. It's literally ridiculous. I just didn't want that to be part of my life. I was on toilet duty. I was cleaning toilets, cleaning out the bathroom, sweeping, mopping, everything they would make me do for minimum wage, they would. One of my breaking points was, first of all, they never let me work in the grocery department. So I was never even allowed to stock the shelves or anything, because I didn't want to deal with the customer service people, because they're all annoying me. It's a pretty annoying job being in customer service. They didn't think I was good enough for it. They thought I was only good enough to be a bag boy, which is pretty funny. The bosses never liked me or anything. Never really got any raises. Kept at minimum wage, and they decided to make me scrub toilets one day, and I was so sick. I have to change my life. And so I started. Long story short, everyone knows my dad was a real estate wholesaler, and I saw a couple checks on his desk, and I'm like, Dad, how can I actually get started in this business? How can I do it? Can you teach me? He basically said, get your own deal first, son. And I was like, oh shoot, what do I do? So went in his library, read all the wholesaling real estate books I possibly could, and figured out $300. I didn't have much opportunity. So I figured out bandit signs were pretty much my plan of action. I went to a sign store. I got them printed, about like 100 to 200-ish signs. I made sure it was black on white. Basically, we buy ugly houses on it. I started sticking the signs out, and the rest was history. After about a couple days, I got around 4 calls. They're roughly like 2-ish tire kickers, 1 decent lead, and then 1 desperate seller. So what I mean by this is there's about 2 tire kickers. They didn't really want to sell the property too much. They just wanted to see what I was all about. 1 lead that was decent. It didn't really end up being a deal or appointment. They wanted to sell, but they didn't really have too much motivation. And then 1 call I had was during my history class in high school. And if any of you guys know how history classes work in high school, you can't be on your phone. This was in 2017. You're not allowed to be on your phone. And I got that call from a bandit sign, and I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, I'm getting another bandit sign call. And so I made the decision to just go answer that call in class. And it was not good, because I just, I was like, ring, ring, ring. I said, hello. The teacher was teaching, and he's like, you get out of here. Like, he kicked me out of the class and just walked up and left. And I got kicked out, which was fine, because I got that call and I was answering in the hallway. And I walked out to my car, and it was a guy, and he said, hey, I lost my job and I'm getting a new job out of state. I just got to get rid of this property. It needs a lot of work, and I'm just looking to sell it. This is the first person I've seen that was looking to buy houses. Had a conversation with him and said, hey, when are you free for me to go look at the property? Lo and behold, I met him 3 hours later. It was kind of weird. I would never probably meet a random stranger 3 hours after initial call, but this is how my 17-year-old brain worked. I basically went home, printed a contract, and when I was running out, Rick, my dad, he basically said, you can't sign the contract today. I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, you legally can't sign the contract. You're not an adult. I was like, what? And so he had to come with me and sign the contract for me. So I went there on the appointment. I legitimately had no idea whatsoever what anything looked like in the house. I didn't know if the property needed a roofing help. I didn't know if the roof was fine. I didn't know if the interior was fine, if this updated or not. I generally knew just stupid stuff a teenager would know about a house, right? If a house is ugly, it's not. If there's a hole in the wall, if there's not. I didn't really know too much per se. But by the grace of the heavens, I ended up getting the deal. So I walked around, looked at it. He pointed out some issues on the property. He was actually an engineer. And he kind of pointed out the issues for me and told me about it. So I got pretty lucky with that. Told me about the mold on the ceiling, a little roof leak, mold by a spigot on the other end, general stuff, scruff on the floors, needs new flooring. And I kind of faked it till I made it, if that made sense. I put a false sense of confidence on myself, acted like I knew what I was doing, and ended up knowing the only thing I really knew was don't say the price first. So basically what I did was I said, hey, Mr. Seller, how much do you need to sell the property for? Like, at the end of the day, what works? And I had a lot of ums and buts, and it just wasn't the best. But obviously this was 5 years ago. He basically said, well, would you take $60,000? And I knew for a fact a cash buyer would buy it for at least $65,000, $70,000 because the Zillow was like $150,000 on it. And looking back, the property needed a lot more work than I thought. But I was like, oh my gosh, this guy wants to sell it for less than I think I could sell it for. I was shaking inside. I was so excited. And I figured out, you know what? Calm it down, Zach. I said, would you take 50? And we met in the middle at 55 and ended up selling it to a cash buyer for $80,000. Funny part about that is the cash buyer was actually Rick. So I got a $25,000 assignment fee. I think he ended up selling it for around $125,000. I think he made more money on the deal than me, but at the end of the day, made it pretty easy for me. And I got that deal done. Long story short, I used that money to buy about 1,000 more bandit signs, started putting about 50 out a week, scaled it up more and more and more. And before I graduated high school, I did 5 more deals. So 6 deals in total, made around $100,000 before my high school graduation, which I thought was really cool. It was definitely a huge accomplishment for me. I was around 18 years old at the time. I was able to quit my bag boy job after I got my second deal under contract. One of the most satisfying feelings of my entire life. And I really am excited to teach you guys real estate wholesaling so you can do the same exact thing. But honestly, guys, at the end of the day, the biggest lessons I learned from doing that deal is if a 17-year-old kid who didn't know anything about real estate, nothing about the property, but knew enough about talking to a person, I think some of those customer service skills actually helped a lot. I actually used that to get the deal done and read a bunch of books on it. I mean, now you have all these videos. You even talk to me one-on-one on live streams. There's just no excuse for you not to go out here and do deals. And just to understand also, like in this market today, there's way more opportunities to do deals than there were back then. Now, obviously, there's more wholesalers out here now, but it's so much easier to find a buyer. There's so many more options of people like me just telling you what to do. I didn't really know drawing for dollars was a thing. I probably would have done that over bandit signs. Reverse drawing for dollars with the sticky note. I didn't even know what a pre-foreclosure was my first year in real estate wholesaling. But the more and more knowledge I accrued, really, there's not many YouTube videos when I started out in wholesaling real estate where no one really talked about anything. It was very, very hush-hush. A guru is the only person who can give this information. I'm honestly so blessed that I got that first deal and I had to learn the school of hard knocks so I could be the only real estate wholesaling coach, me and Rick, that teaches this business for free. Because without me, imagine how many people trying out for free would never even do well in this business. I want to give everyone a level playing field in this business. I don't want someone to have a huge advantage. They paid 15 grand for this stupid guru when you get the same knowledge and education for free. And just at the end of the day, guys, just understand that everyone's on their own journey in real estate wholesaling. It doesn't matter where you're starting out, your age, your height, your gender. I don't care what school you went to. I don't care how much money you have. It all doesn't matter. It all comes down to how much action you're willing to take, how consistent you are, and how confident you are to go out here and actually execute the plan you put out for yourself. If you can do this, you can have success. Real estate wholesaling, in my opinion, is the only industry in real estate that doesn't discriminate. Your age doesn't matter. You can do it at 17 years old, doesn't matter. You can have any education level. You can even be a felon in wholesale real estate. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no discrimination when it comes to real estate wholesaling. If you're a realtor, you're in the mortgage industry, of course you're going to get discriminated like crazy, right? But the cool part about real estate wholesaling is you're your own boss, and the market chooses if you got a good deal or not. And the market will not discriminate on stupid stuff. The only thing the market in real estate wholesaling discriminates against is price. So just understand that. If you don't put the effort in real estate wholesaling, you're going to fail. But if you put in the work, it doesn't matter anything else. So guys, what I can tell you is go out here and do the work. I figured out pretty fast, the more deals you do, the more confident you are in the process, which means it's easier to do deals. It's kind of a weird false fallacy, but it is true. The more deals you do, the easier it is to do deals, even when you're starting out from no money. So just understand that. And at the end of the day, if you're 14, 15, 16 years old, you want to get started in this business under 18, a couple options you can remember. I'm not a lawyer, legal advisor, legal scholar, realtor, CPA, financial advisor, any of those things, quick disclosure. But for a lot of people, you can have a parent sign the contract for you under an LLC, which you're actually on the LLC, then you get paid the LLC, which you can put the money there. Have the parent actually sign the contract, have them get the wire or the check for the assignment, then they give it to you, obviously pay them for their taxes. They can even hold it in a separate bank account for you or in a joint bank account if they sign the contract and keep that till you're 18. There's a million ways you can do it, but always look around, just look online, talk to a lawyer, and they'll kind of show you the ways and the legal loopholes around it. I kind of did the LLC approach when I was 17. But at the end of the day, guys, if you want to learn more about real estate wholesaling, especially as a beginner, if you want to start doing your first deal with me, I'll teach you absolutely for free. I don't want your money. I want to show you you this business absolutely for free because I went from a broke bag boy to someone who's making 7 figures a year in real estate wholesaling at a generally youngish age, and I'm set for the rest of my life. From wholesaling real estate income, I turned to passive income. I don't have to work another day in my life, and it's such a blessing in my life, and it's such a relief that I can even be in this opportunity. And if I could just show one kid, maybe 2 kids how to do this and their entire life's changed, that's all I want. There's so many kids that were 17, 18 years old that were broke, learning from this channel, and now they don't have to worry about money ever again. We're changing lives here and the future of everyone's life. And I don't want the thing stopping you from getting your first deal, from you changing your financial future forever, from you retiring your mom, taking care of your family, your kids, your wife, your husband, anything, being a stupid $10,000 course. I want to break that barrier. I want to break that wall. I want to guide you and show you this knowledge. If you're ready to go, hop on to freewholesaling.com, hop on the one-on-one calls, and I'm ready to show you guys. Do me a big favor and smash that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon. Let's get that deal.